Success is never handed to you. It is something you got to grab. You got to fight for it. You got to go for it if you want to achieve it, in spite of whatever is holding you back. And tonight, you and only you define your destiny. Find your hidden millions, like the man who grew up on welfare, battled a sexual addiction, and found a way to create not one, but 3 multi-million-dollar companies. You don't have to play the cards you're dealt. Deal your own hand for success. I'm Donny Deutsch, and that's tonight's big idea.
Hi, I'm John Shegerian. I've created 3 multi-million-dollar businesses. Right now, I'm the chairman and CEO of Electronic Recyclers. We're the #1 electronic waste recycling company in the United States. People tell me I'm in the garbage business. We're not in the garbage business. We're in the money-making business. We turn trash to cash every day. We were the first family in our neighborhood to be on welfare, the first family in our neighborhood to have a divorce, and I was also the first kid in my neighborhood to get a job. Everyone said I'd never make it. And all I kept telling myself is, yes, I can, yes, I can, yes, I can.
Yes, you can, my friend. You're a guy who's an inspiration. Because forget that you've started 3 companies. You give people second chances. You hire ex-cons, street kids. Where'd that come from?
Everybody deserves a second chance, Donny. I've gotten many second chances in my life, so it's my form of giving back by giving other people a second chance to turn their life around and recycle their life.
Okay, you're a guy who sold one company ready for tens of millions of dollars.
Yeah.
You grew up, you were the only kid in your neighborhood on welfare, Little Neck, Queens. That had to be tough, man.
That never felt good. I remember that feeling. I still carry it with me every day.
Give me an example of because Little Neck was not a poor, it was a middle-class neighborhood. I grew up in the next town over, so there certainly weren't kids there on welfare. So you're going to elementary school, and you're a welfare kid, man. Give me a day in the schoolyard you remember kind of either the taunts or the embarrassment or the humiliation.
You carried it with you. The other kids in the neighborhood knew we were on welfare. The other kids in the neighborhood knew my parents were divorced. Divorce wasn't big back then, and I just had to take it into my own hands. I didn't want the circumstances to get bigger than me, so I went and got a job at 10 years old, sweeping floors, putting money in my pocket. And when you have money in your pocket, you walk around with your chest out and your head held high.
What did it feel like? Because obviously, at some point, you understood what welfare is. Okay, we can't afford, I'm not putting down welfare, but in your case, we can't afford to live. We need help.
We need help.
What did that make you feel like as a
kid? Helpless. Like this was not where I wanted to be. The other kids, they weren't on welfare. Their parents were intact. I didn't want to be in that place anymore, so I just took it into my own hands.
You were dealt those cards, those welfare cards, but you reshuffled them.
I reshuffled them and just said to myself, yes, I can. And I went and got a job at 10 years old sweeping floors.
What are some of the other jobs you had as a kid?
I groomed horses. I shoveled snow, mowed lawns, whatever it took to put money in my pocket. I knew that was going to take me away from no, I can't to yes, I can.
Weren't you a delivery guy at some point also?
When I was a young kid, I delivered color separations, proofs, and progs over to your father's agency, the Deutsch agency. So I know your name since I'm a little kid. It's legendary in the city.
You're a legend, man. Delivering stuff from delivery boy to sweeper to welfare kid to a guy that's made tens of millions of dollars. And the most exciting thing for me is the kind of people you give chances to. You end up in LA. And a business kind of falls, I don't want to say falls into your lap, but certainly not a typical way to kind of find yourself into a business. What happened?
Post-riot Los Angeles, a very bad time to be in Los Angeles.
What was going on in Los Angeles?
It was after the Rodney King riots.
Okay, right.
City was on fire, no one was getting along, and I took a pastor from East LA, and I took the kids that he was counseling, and I put them to work in our Grand Central Market in downtown LA making tortillas. We started Homeboy Tortillas, and we gave these kids a second chance from East LA. And Homeboy Tortillas morphed into Homeboy Industries, and it's still alive now, giving kids from East LA, gang-impacted kids, a second chance to recycle their lives.
But how did you even ended up with a store in the middle of the riots? What happened? I mean, there was kind of a crazy story.
Well, I had seen this pastor on 60 Minutes, what he was counseling these kids to get them jobs. I figured, let's put them to work in our market, because someone left our market. The guy who owned the tortilla stand left our market, handed me the keys right after the riot, said, I'm out of here. I'm moving to Mexico. I'm never coming back to this crazy city. So I figured, let me take these kids that this pastor is counseling and put them to work. Let's give them a second chance right here. Let's make it real.
So these are street kids, these are gang kids.
Yeah.
And you're putting them to work in your tortilla place.
Right.
Weren't you afraid? Like most people, the tendency would be, look, these kids are punks, they're bums. How am I going to trust these kids? Where did that, either that wisdom or that guts or that intuition come from?
I came from the streets. I wasn't scared of these kids, and I want to give them a chance, because people who are given a second chance, most of them grab hold of it, roll up their sleeves, and they have a point to prove, and they never look back, and they become the best employees and partners you could ever imagine.
All right, so that you start Homeboy, becomes a nonprofit. How did financialaid.com start?
Financialaid.com started. My partner and I realized we wanted to deliver. We wanted to be the first to deliver student loans online to America's students, to get them college educations. And we dreamt it up to be the first. We were first. Everyone, 25 venture capitalists threw us out of their offices. We mortgaged our houses. We went all in, and everyone said it was going to fail, especially after the dot-com crash in 2001.
It's interesting. You're a guy who goes all in. You follow your gut. You go for it. As somebody who came from a welfare background that had a helpless feeling, that's almost counterintuitive. You'd think you'd be completely risk averse, but yet it's worked for you in the opposite direction.
Yeah, you never lose that feeling of being on welfare. You never forget that feeling that you never want to go back there again.
So that's what's driving you.
That's what drives me every day. I get up and I say, yes, I can. Yes, I can. And the more people tell me, no, I can't, the more people that slam their doors on my face, I say, yes, I can, even louder.
I love it. I love it. It wasn't all roses for you as you were building the company. Also, on a personal level, you're married with kids, and you're not exactly behaving like a choir boy.
No. I realized in the early 90s that in the early 2001, I had a sexual addiction.
What do you mean, sexual addiction?
Like any other addiction, something was controlling me that I couldn't control anymore.
Give me the lowest moment.
First day in rehab. Felt like I was back on welfare again. I was back on the bottom of the rung. Never knew if my family was going to stay intact. And I just said, I don't want to be here ever again. I got to get well.
But how did it blow up to the point that you even got into rehab?
My wife found out, and she said, it's over unless you get well. And I realized I had a horrible sickness. Addiction is a horrible sickness, no matter what it is. Drugs, alcohol, sex, food. If it takes over your life, you've got to find a way to get well. And that's why I created Addicted.com, because rehab is only the beginning of the wellness. You're not there for 35 days. It's a continuum where you have to work on it after you get out of rehab. And I created that to fill the void for when I got out. People can come anonymously because of the shame that attenuates with all addictions and find help, whether it's different types of rehab or counselors or any type of help, or other people that have gotten well or are suffering. It connects them all online, and it democratizes the information so addicts can find some help and realize either A, they're sick, or B, continue their wellness continuum.
All right, let's take a look at one of the many people's lives you literally saved.
I started working for John back in 1998, and it drastically changed my life. I went from welfare, following John's footsteps, now on my way to become a millionaire, from ghetto to corporate suits now. So I just want to thank God, thank John for that opportunity that he has given me at this point in my life, because without that opportunity, I'll either be dead or in jail.
Now, who's that? What's his backstory?
That's Mandingo Kane. He came to work for me in 1998, and he works for me now at Electronic Recyclers, as do all those people there. And most of them are either former convicts or former gang members. And we're just like we're recycling electronics, we're recycling their lives, and they all appreciate it, as you can see.
It's amazing. John Shegerian, founder of Addicted.com and co-founder of Electronic Recyclers. Man, you said, yes, I can.